How do we prepare people for a working world that feels like it's shifting from under their feet faster and faster every month? And this is something that has been on my mind a lot recently, especially as entry-level roles continuously shrink and the headlines keep pushing this idea that AI is a threat rather than a tool. So today I want to take a more grounded look at what this moment actually means for the workforce. And also why the story is not as bleak as many of those stories in your news feeds might suggest. And today I'm joined by Robin Adda, and he is a familiar name across learning and development, education and workplace innovation, because he's someone that has spent decades helping people build careers through technology, and technology that supports their growth rather than replacing it. And he is the founder and CEO of SkillsAssess, which is a UK startup that uses AI to map skills, reveal knowledge gaps, and create a personalised learning pathway that helps businesses retain and, most importantly, retrain their talent too. And what stands out when having spoken with Robin today is just how closely he's watching behaviour inside organisations and how often the real barriers actually have nothing to do with AI or technology at all, and everything to do with confidence, clarity and culture. So during our conversation today, Robin is going to explain why AI does not need to be an employment cliff edge, and how personalised pathways could change the way companies approach training, and why human traits like curiosity, communication and decision-making, how these traits will matter more and more in every technology-driven workplace. And hopefully we can dispel a few myths today and also talk about why that traditional standardised training no longer works, and how leaders can approach skills planning in a way that feels more achievable than overwhelming. And as you listen today, I want you to think about your own team or your own career, what skills you've gained, what skills have gone unused, and how a more tailored approach could unlock a better future for you and your team. And how do you think technology could support your personal growth in the years ahead? But before we jump into today's conversation, I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsor for helping make this show possible. If you're building a startup, every second counts. And sadly, so does every breach. And the truth is, early stage companies are often the easiest targets because attackers know that their defences could be thin. And Nord Layer gives you the same level of network security that some of the big players use, without the premium price tag or complex setup. And best of all, it scales with your growth. You can add users in seconds, protect your assets from day one. And over the years, I've seen many founders lose investor trust over one data leak. So it's just not worth the risk. So why not secure your startup properly right from the beginning? Check out nordlayer.com/techtalksdaily and get 28% off with the coupon TechDaily-28. And as you ponder on that, I'm going to officially introduce you to my guest today. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Robin. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Yes, so I started in the edtech industry about 25 years ago after kicking off my IT career with computers. And I've been trying to get people into jobs, into employability, and get through the barrier of skills gaps for the last 25 years, actually, across different types of training. After selling my last business, I built two businesses, in fact, which I've sold both to US companies, both in the edtech sector. And after selling the last one, I decided I had to get started again with a new project. And so I started a company called Barefoot E-Learning, which was an e-learning business providing personalized micro learning, which is customizable. And we thought we do believe we have a great product there. But we realized early on that just providing training is not good enough. You've got to find out what people need. And so we developed this tool called SkillsAssess, and then we introduced AI into it, and then it just took off. So exciting, and we're now able to assess skills gaps and curate and recommend curated learning pathways using this. And the world needs people like us to do this because the skills gaps aren't getting any better. So my background is really, computers into educational technology, and here I am now running a business which is using AI.
Fantastic. And I must admit, after doom scrolling down my newsfeed, which was full of horror stories of AI and robots taking over everyone's jobs, I wanted to try and restore the balance in the universe and tell a more positive story. And that led me to your doorway. I've seen it. You've argued that AI should be used to save jobs rather than reducing headcount. So what was it that convinced you that that could be a realistic outcome and have a more optimistic viewpoint here?
So our business is, if you like, in its infancy. We're 15 months in from when we started. But what we can see is a lot of very well-established organizations all trying to tackle the skills gap, trying to find out how they can improve their workforce, what they need to do, developing systems. But the back end of all these systems is still at a manual level. And so the whole process takes a long time, and it's not engaging particularly. Everybody's trying to make things look more exciting. What we found with AI is we can get results as anybody who's using, we all know now, just asking AI a question, you get answers straight away. Well, we built this assessment tool, and then we introduced AI, and so the whole process has suddenly accelerated. So basically, what we're looking at now is being able to identify where people need learning, curating pathways. It's all, whatever industry they're in. And I think the biggest problem also is that everybody thinks that we need to look at skills gaps in the white collar world, but actually the skills gaps are right across the board. And if we look at the areas that need fastest training, there are areas like construction or nursing, and you can apply this skills measuring tool to anything. And I think that's what people need to do. We need to become faster, and we need to become more flexible. And we're really excited about this. We can't believe that that we're in this world today, and then we've just got to get people thinking the same way as us.
And it's so refreshing to hear you have this positive outlook here. And I think one of the reasons for that is we've all seen many major employers cutting entry-level roles as AI becomes part of everyday workflows. And it's filling that pipeline of the next generation that is the big challenge here. So where do you think businesses are misunderstanding the long-term value of human talent in an AI-enabled workspace? Because you've probably seen many trends similar over the years as well.
Yeah, well, there's lots of answers or lots of topics in that question, I think. But the first thing is that we're very much involved also in employability. So we're trying to get people skilled up so that they can apply for jobs. So whilst jobs are being cut at the same time, there are huge opportunities for young people, and they need training, and they need and the lack of skills is worrying because, for example, we find that the good thing is that as we've got two aspects of our business, I can talk from two different angles. So talking from the training angle, we find that we can't necessarily train people who are trying to get skilled up to get a job because they don't even have a strong command of the English language, so they can't actually follow an e-learning course. So they need help with their English, and AI can, we've actually managed to develop programs that actually test English skills and math skills, and that helps them get skilled up so that they can start on their digital skills pathway. But so employability is a very strong area, and we're finding across the country, people are trying to get programs going that will help upskill people who are jobless at the moment. Now, what you're saying is that people are trying to get rid of jobs. it's a transition. It's not getting rid of jobs. You need, and the other thing is that you mustn't forget the human element. I mean, AI is great at repetitive, administrative, back end work, and that's what we've seen with the tool that we've developed. But also, you need the personal skills, and the great thing is that we're all going to be really important for a long time. Our personalities, our thought process, thinking. I mean, this is not going to go away. Definitely not. And I'll come on to that in a moment as we progress.
Yeah, and as you've said, the real crisis here is that widening digital skills gap. So just to bring to life everything that we're talking about here, what does that look like inside the companies that you're working with? Are you seeing it accelerating? What are you seeing inside organizations right now?
So I think that if people say we need training and they roll out a training program, and that historically has been the case. And I remember when I was involved with a US company, and they said, right, everybody's going to do this training, and you've all got to do it, and we need, HR needs to know you've done it. I think we've moved on from there, and the great thing about AI is that we can now see who needs what where. So this whole concept of standardized training for everybody is over. I mean, if I think about the iterations I've gone through in training, we've had classroom training, and that was the norm, and it was fantastic. We and everybody decided they were going to, or the employers decided they'd train somebody in a certain topic. Then we had hybrid training, so a bit of training at home and training in the class. Then we had virtual training, which is training with an instructor online. And then we had e-learning, and there were all these courses, and still organizations offering thousands of courses to people, which is not really going to help. Now, what employers need is they need to find out what their skills are in their organization. They need to measure the skills. They need to then curate learning pathways. And I went to an educational show earlier this year. Seems like a very long time ago now. And all the stands there were promoting personalized learning or personalized training. And I think that's what is needed: personalized learning, personalized training. Now, it sounds like a complicated task, but it isn't if you can use the AI strengths, if you like. And that's what we do. We can create personalized training. So employers should be going down that route, and they should be looking at their skills. They should audit their skills in their organization. They should create personalized training. And we're going to come to the human element, which is probably overriding and gives us all hope for the future.
And I think many employees listening of all ages currently find themselves quite anxious about the impact of AI on their careers, and they naturally navigate their way through that Kubler-Ross change curve. So I'm curious, what are the most effective ways that you've seen organisations take to reduce that anxiety and actually turn it into motivation for retraining? Have you seen anybody doing this really well at the moment?
I think it's still, well, everybody's putting a lot of money in, I was going to say dollars. Everybody's putting a lot of money into doing this. Well, at the larger organization end. At the smaller organization end, I think we're all, all SMEs are working day to day. But basically, I think the main issue is finding out what your skills are in your organization, and then getting your program together to train those, upskill those people. The other, upskilling is also critical because it costs, I think, there are figures around £30,000 per new hire. And you've got all those people working for you. You've spent time hiring them. You've spent time training them, but they need upskilling. And there was an old adage which said that what if I train my people and they leave? And what if I don't train them and they don't leave? So upskilling is a key component and something that they can easily do. Now, let's think about the personal side of things. We also need people to think and to be curious and to be productive. And research indicates now that as we know, kids playing with games on the mobile phones don't read as much as they should. We adults are now starting to use AI to do everything for us, and as a result, we're using our brain less. we're being less original, we're less curious, and that's a danger as well. So I think you've got to be selective in how you use AI within the organization.
And you use AI to create personalized learning pathways, which feels incredibly cool here. So when you first began, if I take you back to the beginning, what was that problem that you were trying to solve when you founded the company, and what outcomes are you seeing so far? Again, it feels like you've been on an incredible journey here and really starting to make ground now.
I think it is. I think we're all on an incredible journey.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to before I answer that, I went to an event last week, and the opening presentation was we're going to try and avoid talking about AI for as long as we can today. That lasted for about 15 minutes. So I think the answer is that, we started Barefoot e-learning. We have this platform, e-learning, compliance, soft skills, digital skills. We can deliver learning right across the board using this. But we found that wasn't really the truth. That wasn't going to overcome the real need. The real need is to find out what people's skills gaps are. We've been working in this really for the last 3 years with organizations that are really trying to overcome the digital skills gap. And I think the thing is, we don't really know where the skills gaps are. And so we thought, well, let's try and work out an intelligent assessment tool so that we can find out more, and then we can actually deliver the training that's needed to fill those gaps. So I think as of today, so we built this company, SkillsAssess, and it's only when we introduced AI that this tool suddenly accelerated, and I think that is what's needed now. We need to identify the skills gaps, and that's what we've learned. So in fact, we've done the journey. We've started with the learning, and we've then discovered the skills assessments are needed. We've then created a tool that allows us to do that. And now we're measuring skills gaps, and we're saying, this is what's needed. This is the training that's needed. And the good thing is that it can be, one can do this right across any sector. So when people say, well, what's your target audience? Well, it's skills gaps. It's not an industry here or an industry there. It's skills gaps, and that's what we need to measure. We need to help people, wherever sector they're in, to get those skills, and that's what's going to help productivity, ROI. There are so many statistics being quoted every day about what's missing. For example, I read yesterday that the digital skills gap is costing the UK £96 billion per annum. I mean, it's difficult to keep up with all the statistics. 1 in 6 employers can't find the skills they need because of a lack of skills, and so it goes on. 30% of the country it doesn't have the right digital skills for work. Yeah, it's a huge challenge that we've got in this country, and I'm sure right across the world.
Yeah, and as every country faces this productivity challenges and ongoing talent shortages, what role do you see AI-driven upskilling playing in helping maybe stabilise the workforce and equally supporting economic growth too? 'Cause, again, feels like a big opportunity here.
Yeah, so I think that it's moved us a whole level up in terms of what we can do. And as I said, for the last 25 years, I've been working. I remember when I was working with an American association, and the CEO came round to my house to pick me up. We were off on a trip, and he said he saw my kids who were young at the time, and he said, "You know what your dad does?" And they looked at him and shook their heads. No idea. He said he helps people to get jobs, and that's really what we've been trying to do for 25 years. That I have anyway, and I think with the arrival of AI, the excitement now is that we just feel we can do so much more, and I just think the opportunities are here and now, and we've just got to build on it. But yes, employability, productivity. It's all within our grasp, and it's just we have to change the way we do things, and we've got to think about I said earlier, the human element, because I think employers have really got to focus also now on critical thinking and curiosity and innovation and all these things. We've developed an AI powered assessment around the DISC behavioral profiling, and what that does is that enables one to assess people's skills and put them into the right team. So if you have somebody who's reserved, they should perhaps be given some training in presentation skills and communication skills, and equally somebody who's very good at decision making, but doesn't have organizational skills. You can group people together, and so the human element is also incredibly important. I think that organizations are going to have to think about that as well. So it's not just AI, going faster. It's also think about the human skills that people have.
I love that line there. Your dad helps people get jobs. Absolutely love that. And if there is a business leader listening today and everything you're saying is resonating with them, getting lots of light bulb moments going off around the world, and they want to future-proof their teams, what is the first practical shift that they should be making in how they think about learning, development, and the introduction of AI into their day-to-day work? Where should they start?
Well, I think they should start by auditing their current skills strategy. I mean, if they've got a framework, they should review that framework, make sure that it's up to date, and that it's not a one-size-fits-all model. That's really important. As I said, integrate personal profiling into the organization so that they respect and they encourage collaboration, they encourage critical thinking, curiosity, innovation, ideas. I think that's the problem. The more you rely on technology, as we were saying earlier, that you can switch off the creative side of the brain. I think you've got to obviously track results and see and outcomes, and I think all those components together. But there's huge opportunity, and we are all going to be much more successful, I think, in closing those skills gaps as we move forward, because the technology is here, and the opportunities are much greater than they've been in the past, and we've just got to recognise that and dip in and take the first step. A lot of people have taken these steps already, but there are many people who haven't, and we're coming across them every day.
And I think that is a powerful moment to end on. And for anybody listening anywhere in the world, maybe they want to continue this conversation that we started with today, find out more about SkillsAssess. Where should they go? Where would you like to point everyone?
Well, I'd love them to come and visit us at www.skillsassess.ai. We've also got a podcast series, which is called When Skills Matter. And that's all about skills. So that's on YouTube and Spotify, and you can also get that off our website. So and on LinkedIn, we'd love people to follow us on LinkedIn as well, SkillsAssess. So I think you've given us huge opportunity here to encourage people to address these skills gaps using the new technologies, and I think there's an exciting moment ahead for us, and we'll make much more progress altogether.
And I will add links to everything you mentioned there, including your books as well. I mean, we didn't get to talk about you're a best-selling author as well as a leading change maker in the worlds of work, AI, education and technology. So I include links to everything, the podcast, maybe a video from your YouTube podcast as well. I'd love to stay in touch with you, see how things continue to evolve next year. But more than anything, thank you for shining a light on this and bringing or restoring the balance in the universe with much more optimism. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Neil. I really enjoyed it. And hopefully again. Yes, absolutely. That would be great.
So what does it take to build a workforce that feels confident rather than cornered by AI? I think that question sits at the heart of everything that Robin shared today. And it's one that matters to every leader that I speak with. And he reminded us that skills planning starts with clarity, not guesswork, and that people learn faster than they understand and what they need and why it matters. And he also underlined the very human side of this shift from critical thinking to communication, and how these very human traits hold teams together as technology accelerates. But over to you. If today's conversation sparked ideas for you or your organisation, or just raised questions about how to move forward, I encourage you to explore the work that Robin and his team are doing at SkillsAssess, because their approach offers a way to understand skills at a deeper level and build training around real needs rather than assumptions. It may even change the way you view learning inside your own company. So please drop by techtalksnetwork.com. You can leave me an audio message there. You can also get me on LinkedIn, just at Neil C. Hughes. Let me know. But one final thing before I go, let me leave you with this. If AI can reveal our skills gaps with such clarity, can it push us to focus on the traits that make us human, make us creative and adaptable too? Love to hear your thoughts on this one, but I've taken up far too much of your time today, so I'll be back again tomorrow with another guest, but keep those messages coming in. Speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.